Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. In this session, we'll be discussing from the 25th, 26th and 27th verses of the 7th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the 25th verse is as follows. Tathayam chavataraste bhuvo bhara jihirshaya swanam chananya bhavanam anudhyanaya chasakrit. The meaning of this verse is, thus you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are wrapped in meditation upon you. These are words spoken by Arjuna. Arjuna has seen a glare in the sky, a radiation, and he wants to ask Krishna, what is the source of this radiation? And before that, he is offering prayers. So, in this prayer, this particular prayer Arjuna is offering, he is describing Krishna's descent as avatara. You descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world. When the world is overburdened by the miscreants, those who are lawbreakers, then the Lord either deputes his devotees or he himself comes to remove the burden of the world. And also, more importantly, he comes to benefit his friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are wrapped in meditation upon you. The devotees are entirely dependent upon Krishna for everything. They have no other dependence. So, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, it appears that the Lord is partial to his devotees. It appears like that, but actually the fact is he is not partial. But the fact is, everyone is related with the Lord. Everyone has got a relationship with the Lord. It's not just the devotees alone who have relationship. He is equal to everyone. That is the meaning of Supreme Lord. He is equal to everyone. Yet, he is more inclined to his own men and devotees. He is more inclined to his own men, that is, who are his devotees. The Lord is everyone's father. Aham bija pradapita, that's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. He is the seed-giving father of all living entities. So therefore, it is described here by Srila Prabhupada, the Lord is everyone's father. No one can be his father, and yet no one can be his son. This relationship, what we understand in the material world, somebody's father or somebody's son, that kind of relationship doesn't apply to Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada further explains, his devotees are his kinsmen and his devotees are his relations. This is his transcendental pastime. It is his pastime, it is his leela. It has nothing to do with mundane ideas of relations, fatherhood, or anything like that. Materially, we know somebody's my father, somebody's my son, somebody's my friend, somebody's my relative. Those kind of material ideas should not be carried in our mind when we try to understand Krishna's incarnation or descent in this world. As mentioned above, the Lord is above the modes of material nature. He is always transcendental to the modes. And thus there is nothing mundane about his kinsmen and relations in devotional service. Nothing material. Everything is completely transcendental. So therefore it is described as a transcendental pastime. The 26th verse is Kim idam svit kuto veti deva deva navedmyaham sarvato mukhamayati teja paramadarunam. Now Arjuna is stating what is the problem, that the meaning of this verse, O Lord of Lords, he is addressed Krishna as Deva Deva, he is the Lord of Lords, Krishna is the Lord of Lords. How is it that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Where does it come from? I do not understand it. So this is what Arjuna's question is to Krishna. Suddenly Arjuna has seen this dangerous effulgence spreading everywhere and he doesn't know the source. So he's asking Krishna, please tell me what is the source of this. So Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, anything that is presented before the personality of Godhead should be so done after due presentation of respectful prayers. That's a proper etiquette. Krishna is not an ordinary person. So before one wants to ask anything, one has to offer prayers to the Lord. That is the standard procedure, and Sri Arjuna, although an intimate friend of the Lord, is observing this method for general information. Arjuna is actually very, very close friend of Krishna, but still he is following the etiquette that a devotee should follow when addressing the Lord. Prayers have to be offered. The 27th verse, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. Now the Lord's response to Arjuna's question. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha, Vethedam Dronaputrasya Brahmam Astram Pradarshitam Naivasau Veda Samharam Pranabadha Upasthite. The meaning of this 27th verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, know from me that this is the act of the son of Drona. He has thrown the hymns of nuclear energy, brahmastra, and he does not know how to retract the glare. He has helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death. When Arjuna started chasing Ashwathama and Ashwathama's horses became tired, then Ashwathama thought that his life is in danger, and just to save himself, he resorted to the ultimate weapon, the brahmastra, which should normally not be used under such circumstances. But he did not care for the rules, regulations. He simply decided how to release that brahmastra. Regarding the brahmastra, Srila Prabhupada explains, the brahmastra is similar to the modern nuclear weapon manipulated by atomic energy. The atomic energy works wholly on total combustibility, and so the brahmastra also acts. So, in terms of the effect, the brahmastra is similar to the nuclear weapon. It creates an intolerable heat similar to atomic radiation, this brahmastra. But the difference is that the atomic bomb is a gross type of nuclear weapon, whereas the brahmastra is a subtle type of weapon produced by chanting hymns. How was this brahmastra produced? Simply by chanting mantra. And Srila Prabhupada says further, it is a different science And in the days gone by, such science was cultivated in the land of Bharatvarsha. But, the subtle science of chanting hymns is also material. This brahmastra is released by a subtle method of chanting a mantra, but it is a material phenomenon. Even though it is a subtle science of chanting hymns, which is a material effect, it has yet to be known by the modern material scientists. Modern day material scientists do not know how to manipulate subtle sound and produce such a brahmastra. They do not know. Subtle material science is not spiritual, but it has a direct relationship with the spiritual method. Like in spiritual method, mantras are chanted, and even subtle material science takes help of chanting of mantra. But still, this is completely material, this chanting for the sake of releasing brahmastra, whereas the chanting of mantras for spiritual purposes is completely transcendental to all material, transcendental to gross and subtle matter. Just like we chant Hare Krishna, it's completely spiritual. It is not a material phenomenon. It's a transcendental vibration. It has got a spiritual effect. Then further Srila Prabhupada says, a chanter of hymns knew how to apply the weapon as well as how to retract it. See, that's the special thing about this science of subtle sound, that they knew how to release it and how to withdraw it also, retract it. That was perfect knowledge. But the son of Dronacharya, Ashwathama, who made use of the subtle science, did not know how to retract. That was mentioned earlier itself, that he did not know how to retract. He applied it being afraid of his imminent death, and thus the practice was not only improper but also irreligious. So Ashwathama has improperly used this brahmastra, and it is also described here as irreligious. It is against the principles of religion. As the son of a Brahmana, he should not have made so many mistakes. It all began with what? Ashwathama beheading the sons of Draupadi while they were sleeping. Totally irreligious, totally against all the codes of Dharma Yuddha. But after that, he realized that Arjuna is going to actually punish him for it. So he tried to escape, but he could not escape. And now he is trying somehow to save himself by this brahmastra. So he made so many mistakes. And for such gross negligence of duty, he was to be punished by the Lord himself. Krishna himself would punish this Ashwathama. So this is the description here in these three verses. Now Arjuna has come to know it is Ashwathama who has released the brahmastra, and Krishna is now going to direct Arjuna to actually retract that brahmastra which was released by Ashwathama, because Ashwathama did not know how to retract it. So Krishna will now instruct Arjuna to do it. See, Arjuna was having proper knowledge of this brahmastra, how to use, how to release and how to retract both. Now Arjuna is going to retract the brahmastra. That's the next few verses describing this entire incident. There are a lot of lessons to be learned from this particular incident being described here in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, when Suta Goswami is narrating the events leading to Parikshit meeting with Shukadev Goswami, where he inquired about this subject matter of Bhagavatam. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.